Meditation. Hi my friends, that's what we're talking about today. Ever since I started meditating about 5 or 6 years ago, wow, yeah, it has changed my life a lot. It was very hard in the beginning to sit my body down and to calm down my monkeys up here. But if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I really don't claim to be an expert in meditation at all. This video is more intended for me to share my experiences, bit of my story with meditation, and maybe just pass on some things that worked for me or didn't work for me. Now the big question might be, why meditate? And I had that question for a very long time too, because I didn't quite understand what that whole fuss was about until I started it, and then I understood. These days, I personally meditate because it gives me a lot of grounding, and I need a lot of grounding because I'm up here a lot, or tend to be up here a lot. So for me, it's really a practice of bringing myself down, ground myself, arrive on Mother Earth, and meditation really helps me to do that. I also meditate because I like cultivating mindfulness and general awareness in life. And mindfulness, it's really not about just being mindful in the moment as I meditate, which is what meditation also helps you to do, is really arrive in the moment. But it's about feeling that mindfulness, that awareness, that consciousness when you're not meditating. So in the other 23 hours and 40 or 50 minutes of your day. It's kind of like going to the gym. You go to the gym, you work out, and then you feel the effects outside of the gym, and this is how it is with meditation. You meditate, and then you feel all these beautiful effects when you're actually not meditating, but when you're going about your actual day. And mindfulness has been a really big thing, just being more aware of the present moment, of what I'm actually doing, who I'm actually talking to right now, what I'm feeling, all my senses. Meditation also helps me to connect to myself. And by that I mean connect to my body, connect to my heart, in the way that I can feel into how am I actually doing today? What am I feeling right now, this moment, when I'm sitting down to meditate? What's coming up for me? What's going on up here? I can be more the observer and kind of zooming out and being like, okay, this is what's happening, all right. And then rather than being right in it and thinking that that's who I am, because I'm not just my thoughts, I'm not just my feelings. So meditation helps me to kind of zoom out and get perspective on what's going on. And like I said, also just really connecting to myself. And I don't think we do that often enough in our everyday lives. We're all so busy, and this is happening, and then we've got our phones, and we've got our laptops, and our work, and all these people. And so just by being with yourself for a few minutes every day, checking in. When do I meditate? I try to meditate early in the morning when I wake up. For one, it's the best time because things are still kind of quiet, and also it's just kind of easier to turn into habit. And I follow RPM, Rise, P, Meditate. So I get up in the morning, usually around 6:30, 7 o'clock. I go and pee, and then I come back and I sit down and I meditate. And that way, basically my meditation is connected to me waking up and peeing and then meditation. And also by doing that, it's out of the way. I don't have to think about it for the rest of the day. It's done. I've tried all sorts of times and ways to integrate meditation into my life, and nothing worked except doing it right after getting up. When it comes to meditation, it's really all about consistency. And it's about doing it every single day. Let's say it's better to do it just for 2 minutes every day in the morning than doing it once a week for 15 minutes. It's about really developing a daily habit of sitting down, and that's when you will feel the best effects of meditation. A question I get asked a lot is, where do I meditate? And I also travel so much, and it's very simple. I meditate on my bed most times. If I'm in a really cool place and there's a lot of space, I prefer to meditate on the floor, but generally these days I don't have so much private space. I have my room, that's mine, and I just meditate on my bed. I take one of these pillows, put it down like this, and then this is how I sit. And this is exactly where I do my meditations in the morning. And I sit down like that in like a half lotus. if you can't sit in a half lotus, then just cross your legs comfortably, you know, whatever floats your boat, whatever feels comfortable. I prefer sitting up and not leaning back because I just feel more mindful of my body and when I'm sitting up straight rather than slouching, or it's also easier to stay more aware as I meditate when I'm not leaning. I also wouldn't recommend doing it lying down because it's easier to fall asleep. So this is how I sit. I really just use a nice thick pillow, or sometimes 2 or 3 pillows depending where I am, what I've got. You know, I would just recommend try out different ways to meditate and see what works for you. I find the most important thing with meditation is to turn it into habit, is to make it as easy and as attainable as possible. When it comes to the length of meditation, a lot of people think you have to meditate for 30 minutes or 60 minutes, otherwise you're not meditating, and that's not true. There's no real rules to meditation, I believe. Start out with 2 minutes every day in the morning. That's it. That's how you get into it. And then maybe you do that for a week every day, and then you raise that to 5 minutes every day, and then to 7, and then to 10, and you just keep going like that until you reach a point where you're like, yeah, that feels really good. I generally meditate anywhere between 10 and 20 or sometimes more minutes, but generally it's probably about 15 minutes every morning. So it's not a huge amount of time. It's not a massive meditation. Sometimes I do go longer and I do longer meditations, guided meditations for 30 minutes or 60 minutes. But when I'm purely just sitting with myself, and I'll explain in a minute how I meditate, then usually it's about 15 minutes. Now the big question, how to meditate? How? What do you do? And that's where many people get stuck. For one, they believe it's all about just shutting off your thoughts, getting your mind to be completely empty. And that's totally not what this is about, because I have a very active mind, and the monkeys, they don't necessarily like to shut up even when I meditate. So I find ways to deal with that. And I've tried out all sorts of ways to meditate over the years and have found a way that works for me. So what I do is I sit down, get that, nice and comfortable. The reason I'm sitting up on a pillow is because it's more comfortable, and that way my back doesn't hurt so easily or my feet don't fall asleep so quickly. So that really helps if you have issues like that. So I sit down and I close my eyes, and then I just breathe in deeply a few times. And then I just start feeling into the contact points of my body. So the hands on my legs, how that skin feels on my legs, how my butt is touching the cushions, how my feet are touching each other or my legs. Might even feel into my eyeballs and how they're touching my eyelids, or my lips touching each other. So all these different contact points just to find some grounding and slow down. And then after a few minutes of doing that, then I check in with myself and I go into my heart space and I just feel into what I'm feeling and where I'm at, and just kind of connecting to my soul and just everything that's going on inside of me, what's going on in my head, what sort of monkeys are saying hi, and just letting whatever comes up be there and feel into it, and without judgment, without not wanting to feel it, just being there and giving it that space and being very present with where I'm at that time of the day. Then I usually get in touch with my breath. I might do that here in my chest, just feeling how it rises and falls, or I might do it with the area of my stomach and just breathing more consciously into my stomach and feeling how it rises and falls or touches my t-shirt. And I just do that for a little while, a few minutes, and then I eventually go into gratitude mode, which means I just really feel into a few things that I'm really grateful for. And those might be big things, they might be very tiny things, just that I'm happy that the sun is shining today, or how grateful I am to be able to eat beautiful food every day, or maybe I'm really grateful for an email that I received, or I'm grateful for an experience I had a month ago. Whatever that is, just feeling into that gratitude, not just thinking about it, but actually feeling it in my heart. And then I might go back into feeling into my breath again, or maybe to my contact points of my body. So I alternate a little bit, and then towards the end I do a bit of visualizations of things or goals that I have that I would like to manifest themselves into my life. And I feel into that again. It's not just up here, it's really feeling into whatever it is that I want to attract into my life, and feeling into as it had already happened, and feeling gratitude for it already being that way in my life, for having manifested. So yeah, that's a really beautiful thing to do as well during meditation. And then, you know, 10, 15, 20 minutes go by, and then I eventually take one last deep breath and slowly open my eyes, I stretch, and then I get up and start my day. So that's what I do. But yeah, just try out different things. If you've never really meditated much, or you struggle to get into it, I can really recommend a couple of apps that help you in a guided way to develop this beautiful daily habit. And one app is called Headspace, and one app is called Calm. I will link them below the video in the comments, and check them out. I started with Headspace and then also tried Calm for a while, so they're very good apps to get you into that habit. Also, if you like to use the excuse that you don't have time to meditate because your day is so busy, we all have 2 minutes. If you don't have 2 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes in your day to sit down with yourself and meditate, Tony Robbins would say you don't have a life. But yeah, we all have that little chunk of time, and even if you really 2 minutes is all you have, give it 2 minutes. That's it. And the best way to get into it is doing it for 30 days. That's what I would recommend. Try and meditate every single day, no matter what, in the morning after you get up for 30 days. Develop that consistency, and then eventually it becomes so normal, it's like brushing your teeth. And if you live somewhere where you have a yoga studio or maybe even a Buddhist center, then go there, check out their schedules. They might have some meditation classes on offer, or even beginner classes for meditation. That's how I got into it as well. I went to a Buddhist center in Berlin, and then I've also been to meditation retreats. That's a really good way too, to really go deeper into meditation. So I also know that, as I said in the beginning, I have ups and downs. There's sometimes phases where I really struggle to meditate. Sometimes there's days where I don't meditate, and that's sometimes I'm just self-sabotaging myself, I believe, but that's perfectly normal. It's not about being perfect, but it is important to try and turn it into a consistent part of your life. And in the end, I always come back to my meditation. It's such a big part. Yeah, I just really hope that this video was helpful for you, that you've got some pointers and recommendations and maybe a better understanding of what meditation is and how you can integrate a daily meditation practice into your life. And that's it. If you have any questions whatsoever, put them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I'd love that. And also if you subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. I can't wait. Thank you for watching. Bye guys. Mwah.